Welcome to the Dogon podcast. I'm excited to be here. Today is going to be a fun shoot from the hip episode.
Yes.
We're just going to really just talk about what's going on in the Dogon universe and
what are we thinking about?
Yeah, what are we feeling and really how life is going overall and you know, just kind of shoot the shit with you guys. You know, we don't want this to be us talking at you.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of us having a discussion about everything that we're doing.
Yeah, let's see what we're thinking, I guess.
Yeah, you know, and for me, it's like I've been really working on what I say and what I speak into existence. That's why I almost just said what we're trying to do, and I was like, no, what we're making happen, what we're working on.
We are doing.
Yeah, and I've been really focused on that because the last 3 weeks I've been saying my positive affirmations out loud every morning, and it has made a huge difference.
Yeah,
I mean,
just hearing yourself say these positive things can just cement them into real thought. So it's, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been full of energy. I've been full of life, excitement. Like, hopefully you can tell, but it's like, I have this, this next level. I feel like I've reached this next area of personal growth that I've always thought I was there, or I was getting there, or I was, I always thought that that's where I was, but man, it's a different level. Now I can just literally be like, I'm doing this and that's what I do. Like, I don't know.
It's a struggle for me, but,
what do you mean?
Just, I don't know, energy levels. It's probably how I eat, or what I put in my body, not eating the right things, not buying the organics, not buying, or even just cooking for myself. It's just like, I don't know, I just need to crack an egg and fucking fry it or some shit.
Crack an egg, yeah. That's funny. That's actually, that would be a good, like topic for a blog. Like, I just need to crack an egg, and it's like talking about like eating whole foods, like I'm not going to say, I don't think you need to eat organic, I'm just kind of like,
not even, I like it. I personally do like it, but it's just a fucking struggle to get myself to fucking crack that motherfucking egg and fucking fry my shit.
I know, dude. You're talking to somebody who, I've bought thousands and thousands of dollars worth of groceries that I've just let spoil.
And then when I have whenever I have like 12 bricks of ramen in there, it's like I can plop 2 of these in a fucking thing of water for 3 minutes, and I got something that's not gonna make me, or I'm not gonna be hungry anymore. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just easy.
Yeah, and that easy, that whole, that's where I think one of the strongest principles that maybe we can kind of touch on is like delayed gratification.
Yeah.
And it's like doing the difficult thing now for the better result later, rather than doing the easy thing now for the bad result later.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's like you constantly have to like refocus yourself on like, no, I don't do what's easy, or no, I don't do what's, what's the quickest way to get this out of my life. It's I do what I know is best for me, for future me.
Yeah.
Eric Thomas always talks about that. He's like, past you, present you, and future you. And he's like, you got to thank past you for good decisions you made. You got to, celebrate present you for the, for the way that you feel and the way that you're acting right now. And you got to take care of future you by what you do in the present moment.
It's true.
It's kind of interesting. But I think more than anything, when you're struggling with something in life, and this is what I've found, because I've tried to do this and be Mr. 4 a.m., and have this perfect schedule every day, all day for years, and I've had some really long streaks, 100 plus days. I almost got to 200 days in a row one time, where I did 4 a.m. every single morning, did my routine every morning. And, but you got to remember, like 4, 5, 6 months before that, I was just an idiot saying it out loud. I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. every day. And I literally like recorded myself saying all my positive affirmations, and I listened to them like 20 times a day. And a lot of people that I would tell this, they're like, that's insane. Like, there's a lot of people that aren't friends with me anymore because they know that when I had my headphones in, I was listening to myself with positive affirmations. And they're like, dude, that's just weird. That's just, I'm not. And it's like, that's fine.
Why are you so bothered by what I'm doing?
People think that they're like, yeah, you don't need that. That's crazy. And it's like, maybe you don't, but makes it easier for me. I can just brainwash myself.
Why do you give a fuck?
Yeah.
That's weird. But
well, I was in the restaurant business or industry in northern Michigan at that time, so there was a lot of interesting folks up there, and so
Right.
a lot of times you got to consider the source, because you'll try to make changes in your life, and somebody will be like, "That's not a good idea," or "You shouldn't do that," or "You sure that's going to work out?" I don't think that, and it's like all of a sudden you take what they're saying as like some type of truth, and it's like, no, like there was a couple times when people are like, dude, you're overwhelming yourself, or you're thinking too much about stuff. You shouldn't be listening to those, you shouldn't be trying to brainwash yourself. And I was like, for a second, I was like, and I was like, no, it works.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. I notice, how many, I just listened to, a old positive affirmation recording that I had, a really old one. And what I would always do is I'd always have like 5 or 10 general positive affirmations, like every day in every way I'm getting better and better.
Right.
My life is awesome. Like I always had all those, but then I'd have like a couple pointed ones, like, I have a podcast with 5,000 listeners. I have 1,000 followers on TikTok.
which I mean, we've broke 5,000 viewers at least,
Yeah.
so it's kind of cool.
I know.
We've been getting a lot of comments. One specific one that wasn't so nice, but I responded nicely to them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, with the internet comes people that don't like what you're doing, so it's all right.
Yeah. And it's like, for me, it was interesting when I was listening to this recording, and it was like all my pointed stuff had come true. I'd already done it. And so it's so interesting that it's like, man, all I got to do is just say this stuff out loud, listen to it, immerse myself in these thoughts, and it's like it happens. Like, and so why haven't I done this with big things?
Yeah.
With $1 million, with and I've really put some thought in that, and I encourage everybody to get Think and Grow Rich workbook. It is phenomenal. It walks you through these steps of like, what do you want? What makes you feel good? And it puts together this whole plan where you can just read this auto suggestion to yourself every day, and it's really powerful.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you about it, but I wrote out like this perfect week, like
Maybe.
it's like I wrote out like what I'm going to do when I feel like I've made it to a point here in Dogon Packs where like I could step back and things would still run pretty smoothly, I mean, not really, but like they could operate for a month by itself, both of us, if we both were like, hey, let's take a break, it could operate. And when I get to that point, I want to take this perfect road trip where I go around to my family and pay some people back, give some people money, make some people go out to dinner, take some people on a vacation. I want to take a siblings vacation.
Right.
And so I wrote all this out, and I wrote it in like extreme detail. Like I pull up to my parents' house, and I pull up the steep driveway, and I park and have to put my parking brake on because it's so straight up. And, and I kind of, go through all of that in such detail. And then when I read it every morning, it's like I add a little bit more detail, but it becomes more and more real.
Right.
Like I can't tell the difference, and I'm just so excited. I'm even like thinking about certain stuff for the trip, like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, and it's like it hasn't happened yet, but it feels like it has, like it feels like it already has. So I don't know. There's some powerful stuff when it comes to changing the way that you feel, and if you're not getting good results, like you said you're struggling, the person that you are or the things that you do have gotten you to where you are right now. So if you want to be somewhere different, then you're gonna have to like change the way you eat, change the way you sleep, change the way you talk, change the way you learn things, change the way you spend your time, change the way who you hang out with, change, like you have to, if you want to see changes, you have to make changes. And it can't just be like a little bit, or I'll stick my toe in, it's gotta be like I said, you gotta sacrifice who you are to become who you want to be. Like you have to be willing to kill the old person that you were in order to become this new person that you want. You can't mutually exist. Almost got that fly. Oh, if I would have done that right-handed, I would have got that.
He's a bastard.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in particular, when I found myself trying to make changes in my life and I like couldn't get any traction, I started to research why can't, I think I got him. If I did,
Hope.
No, maybe not. Oh, there he is.
He won't go away.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. But anyways, you know, when I was trying to make changes and I couldn't, I was like, why can't I do this?
Yeah.
And I started to research about that, like mental toughness and discipline. And I started to like become a student of what causes a human to act, what causes changes to happen, like on a brain level, on an emotional level. Like I became obsessed with like what makes us act, what makes us do.
Right.
You know, and it's different for everybody. I found that out. But most people will not act unless they have to. And there's a good story of a gentleman who held his student underwater at the river where he couldn't breathe, and almost to the point of where he drowned, and let him up. And he told him that, you know, whatever you want in life, you have to want it as bad as you wanted that next breath, or else you will never get it. And I thought that was just powerful. I mean, I'm not going to drown anybody and be like, right. Do you feel that? No, you know, I'm not going to do that. But it's like that, to me, that's when I also learned that saying of you have to sacrifice who you are to become who you want to be. And I was kind of like, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of hardcore. Like, what do you mean sacrifice who I am? Like, you kind of like who you are, even with your misery or lack of money or lack of, you know, energy or lack of, you know, friends or lack of, you know, like all this stuff that I feel like I lack, I still feel comfortable as that person. That's who I know I am. Right. You know, like, and so it's hard to just be like, yeah, you know, like kill the person you are to become the person you want to be. It's like, it really is a difficult road to walk down. And, you know, so I don't know. That's where I started. I started like, how do I become an expert at discipline?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just been a mental struggle for me. I mean, I've been thinking about it a lot, I don't know, family and stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't really want to get to that on the podcast, but it has been a mental drain as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's, you know, we're always going to have factors in life that are just going to, you know, really test our will and our spirit, you know. And one thing that I was always told, like, by some, you know, pretty influential people in my life was it can either be the reason or the excuse.
Right.
You know, and it can be like, you know, like for example, when my father passed away, you know, that was a thought that I contemplated a lot. And it was like, I can be successful and I can have my father's death be the reason that I, you know, pushed myself and wanted to make a name for myself and, you know, preserve the Trefny name, and, you know, or it could be the reason why, you know, I went off the deep end and wasn't able to do anything or wasn't able to be successful, you know. And I tried to look at like what would honor him the best and what would, you know, give back to what he tried to instill in me, you know. And I still floundered for a few years, you know. I was like still trying to figure it out. And, you know, I mean, but you got to be willing to be that fool and to mess up and to not do well, as long as you're aiming towards the right thing, you know. But yeah, it's a wild ride, because like life is always happening. You can't like pause life and then like do what you need to do.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
You gotta do it all.
Yeah. In spite of the you know, it's like instead of waiting for the storm to pass, you have to see what you can get done in the rain.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, and that's hard sometimes to focus on, because you're like, but all this rain, you know, you're like, but this, we're in the middle of a storm, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. To me, it's like, if you're struggling, if you're having difficulty, try to master and try to become a student of what causes people to act. How do you, you know, improve discipline? How do you improve personal power? Because that's really what you need. You need your battery charged, and until you're able to do that and find what charges that battery, you know, I mean, that's, you know, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a lot, you know. But I think everybody's capable, and everyone's on their own hero's journey, you know, where they're like, you know, like what, you know, I think it's Joe Rogan. He's like, pretend like this is like you're in a movie, and this is the part of the movie where it's like, yeah, my life sucks, and yeah, I don't have this, and yeah, but this is the time when you turn it all around. This is the point where you're like, okay, enough's enough. You step, you know, like pretend like that's where you're at in your movie, and you're writing that movie, so you can just be like, all right, this is the part where I stand up and I shake off. And I don't know if I ever told you this. Maybe we can end the podcast episode on, with this story. This mule fell down donkey fell down an old well. And the farmer couldn't get him out and was like, we'll just bury this mule alive, and it's terrible, but, we'll just throw dirt in it and we'll bury it and it'll be fine. It's an old mule. It'll probably go quick. And so they start burying it and they bury it. And every time they put a shovel of dirt into the well, the mule would just shake it off and step up. And they would just do more and more dirt. And they were trying to bury this mule and this donkey all day. And every single time, every bit of dirt they threw down, it just shook it off its back and stepped up. And then eventually it stepped right out of that well. And it was like, life may try to bury you. There may be constantly dirt being thrown on your back. All you got to do is shake it off and step up. And that's it. And that's all you can do. And the more you do that, the more you will rise, the more you will feel that. And then your personal power will continue to increase. And that's when you can, slay your demons. That's when you can, get your, those dark parts in your spirit exposed to light,
Right.
But Tristan, what are you feeling overall? Do you think there's anything that can be done, from me, from anybody else, from our listeners? Like if they got our video to 1 million views or 1,000 comments, would that help? Or
that would help a little bit. I'd be a little bit happier if that happened, but I don't know. You guys have to make that happen.
It will happen. The pack is definitely growing. And if you haven't gone to Dogon Packs yet and signed up to join the Dogon Pack, you got to do it. We still have quite a few spots available for the Alpha Pack members, but you have to purchase. You have to be one of the first 100 people that purchase one of our Go Packs. But if you do that, then you're going to be an Alpha Pack member for life, and that's everything free. Like the first of everything we make, you get it for free, like sent right to you.
It's a pretty good deal.
That's pretty crazy. But I can't wait till, we're in every store and people are like, oh yeah, I'm one of the 100, I'm one of the Alpha Pack members. I get one of everything for free, but yeah, we'll probably have to move that to 1,000 real quick. We're already seeing that, but thank you guys so much. This is just another, kind of shoot from the hip episode, just talking about what we're feeling, feeling about what we're talking about. But I don't know if I got my merge wixed there or not, but thank you guys so much for joining us. And on the next one, we're probably just going to keep rolling with this and keep this discussion going about the battles, the ups and the downs when you're putting together business, because this is really what it's about.
Right.
Oh yeah.
See you later.